Hello, men of the gathering, Patterson Covenant Church. It's an honor to be with you guys today virtually. And I just want to thank Peter for inviting me to speak here. It's quite an honor. I really appreciate it. So I get the privilege to talk about every man's favorite topic, connection. Hopefully I can be encouraging to you guys, and God can speak through me and through the other speakers today. And yeah, that's my prayers that you men will be encouraged. So before I dive in, just want to introduce myself. My name is Manny Mejia. I'm Peter's son-in-law. I married his awesome, beautiful daughter, Andy Mejia. It'll be 12 years ago this summer. And it's so fun being a part of the foster family. Peter and Betsy are just amazing. I'm just so blessed to be part of the family. And yeah, Andy and I have three kids, Sarah, Michaela, and Noah. They're 7, 5, and 3, so my life is very full. I love being a dad. I'm sure there's a lot of fathers out there, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I work. I'm an accountant. I used to work in public accounting. I still have my CPA, but I did that for about 10 years, and just recently, in January of this year, got a new job. So I work at a credit union now, and that's been an awesome change. A lot less stress, but so that's kind of a little bit about myself. Being an accountant, I'm pretty analytical, and I'm an introvert. I'm trying to lay the groundwork for the connection that we'll be talking about, and how the background of my testimony, the context of my testimony with respect to connection. If you guys are familiar with the Enneagram, which if you're not, you check it out. It's really cool. It's probably the most accurate personality test, or that I think is out there. But I'm an Enneagram 5, which is a thinker. And the thing about that is that I prefer very introspective and private. So connection's not easy for me. It's actually very hard, because I naturally want to be kind of alone and in my mind. So what else about myself? Yeah, I do triathlon. I think I mentioned that. Peter might have posted that in my bio. Triathlon. I was a runner in college. I ran for Chico State, cross country and track. So I've kind of been an athlete my whole life, and got into triathlon. Done no full Ironmans yet, but 3 half Ironmans. So yeah, I love training. I love to ride my bike and run and swim. So a very active lifestyle. But anyways, connection. Yeah, like I said, every man's favorite topic. So I think what's kind of interesting about what happened this past year with the pandemic. I think for a lot of people, the pandemic exposed or highlighted a lot of our weaknesses. I think we maybe as men, or just people in general, the routine of life we kind of use that to kind of maybe mask some of our weaknesses. But when the pandemic hit and life kind of just turned upside down, for me, I kind of went into like shutdown mode myself. It happened right in the middle of tax season, which is the most stressful time of year for me. And um, I remember I was leading a small group at the time, and it's always hard during that time of year for me to lead. But I do it just because it kind of helps take away some of the focus on and stress of tax season. But it's always a challenge. Like I said, I'm an introvert, so um, which if you don't know the definition of introvert, it's not a quiet person. It's someone who when around other people, it takes energy. Yeah, you kind of lose energy when you're around other people, whereas an extrovert kind of they gain energy. They're energized by being around people. So, anyways, all that to say, when the pandemic hit, my first reaction in my imperfect, sinful nature was to kind of just shut down everything, to disconnect from my small group, and all that to say, like, our small group ceased. It paused for about 2 weeks, and then we went to virtual. But in my mind, it was like, okay, pandemic, we gotta, it hit, everything shut down, so I'm shutting down. And as I was kind of continuing on that path and that mindset, I felt like God was saying, is that really what I want? Is that what your response should be to this pandemic? Is to shut down your everything? Are you gonna shut me out? Are you, is the mission and my will for your life different? And if so, so I had to wrestle with that. And so I found that my appetite for connection before the pandemic, like I said, I had my rhythm of going to church, small groups. So connection was kind of woven in, kind of a little more naturally. And the pandemic was like, put a stop to that. So now God was saying, you need to be extra intentional with your connection. And I know it's a muscle, Manny, that you don't exercise intentionally. So now you need to work on that. And so it kind of freaked me out at first, but yeah. So a couple things that happened. Um, I I I refocused on our small group, and we did the virtual thing. But yeah, I wanted to share some things that in 2020 that God did in my life, and I kind of implemented in my life. Before I do that, let me share with you the verse that kind of God put on my heart to share with you guys. And it's in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23 through 24. And Paul wrote the book of Hebrews. It's a kind of interesting book because it's very specific who the audience is. It's the Hebrews, the Jewish Christians who were just having a hard time understanding what Jesus did in light of their upbringing, their religious understanding. They just didn't understand how they can reconcile Jesus and Gentiles and with the law. So Paul is kind of calling them out, trying to challenge them and get them to be encouraged. So he says, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." So this verse kind of came to me because I love what Paul says, let us spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing. All right, so guys, let me be encouraging, but also firm and frank. Like I said, being together with other guys, intentionally connecting with other guys is not our strong suit. Um, if gossip is this sin of women, I think the sin of man is apathy, and we think that um, being on the sidelines and not doing bad, not doing harm, is good enough, and it's not, guys. We are in these are odd times we live in. The world is trying to create gender neutrality. It's trying to do away with masculinity, and it's very harmful to the world. Men are very important. So are women. We have a very specific role. God has created men for a reason, and it's not to sit on the sidelines. And yeah, um, Paul makes it clear we are designed to be in relationship with one another. How can we say that our number one mission is to love one another if we are not interacting with one another? Love is an action. You can't love someone just and never see them, and be home all the time and not show up. So we need to show up, guys. We need to show up. I know that guys don't want to. They don't want to be the leader. That's unfortunate that we've kind of lost some of that. Um, yeah, the proactiveness or what have you. But my encouragement for you guys, and I'm setting the bar low, and it's this: is show up, guys. Let your yes be yes. Um, let's stop making excuses and sitting in the sidelines, and let's show up and connect with one another. Um, it's not, yeah. So I want to leave you guys with some practical applications and kind of testify or give you some of my testimony of how I kind of like how to dig into connection. So a couple things. So I kind of created a social bubble, so to speak, or social pod. Um, the pandemic, it is what it is. Many people have different thoughts on it, um, and I still think we can be connected socially. Social distance doesn't equal relational distance, and you need to figure out what that looks like. And I'll just kind of like I said, I created a social bubble, a social pod, um, and what that looked like was I meet with three other guys once a month, and we meet outside. Excuse me, and our families are close. Our wives hang out a lot, and we have we all have young children, and really it started just because we really missed we missed people, and like I said, it felt right. God was saying, hey, you need to be intentional with connecting with other people. So we meet once a month, and we usually kind of take turns, kind of sharing or bringing a beer that we can enjoy together, and and it's informal. It's just to check in with each other, really, um, just so that we know how we can be praying for each other, encouraging each other, and it's not, like I said, it's solely informal, but it's we always leave there just feeling really blessed and encouraged. Um, and so that's one thing. There's people out there that you have things in common with, and really the commonality in that group is that we're believers, and we have young kids, and our families kind of just hang out. Every Before the pandemic, we were social, so that's one, and God has totally blessed that. Two, I started a mountain biking group. Like I said, I like to ride, and I knew that there was other guys out there that like to ride, but they were riding mountain bikes. So I got one, and we had always been talking about like, oh, let's do this. We should get together and ride. Yada yada yada. Guys like to talk, not a whole lot of action. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'll be the leader. I'll set up the group. And it was simple as text message to the group of guys that I wanted to invite. I said, here's the time, here's the place. There's a kind of a core group of 2 to 3 guys that I kind of ran, the time by, and I wanted to make sure like it worked out. It made sense for a core group of guys that it would work out, so we can have some consistency. So yeah, here's the time, here's the place. Come as you are. It's not a commitment to come every time. But if you can make it, make it. And our first like ride was like 14 guys. It was crazy. And it's kind of it ebbs and flows. Like I said, guys are kind of sometimes we get a little flaky. But it's just been, again, it's not one of those things. We're not doing a Bible study. We're not we're not laying hands on each other. We're going out for a ride and having fun. And I'm telling you, these guys are blessed. One of the rides it was pouring rain, and guys still showed up. Because to me that said that people are hungry for connection, whether they want to admit it or not. And it was just, again, through just a common interest. So, yeah. So I want to wrap this up, and I want you to think about this. I was thinking about what my one of my greatest fears is as a man, and I think for a lot of people it's a fear of failure. And luckily, I've kind of grown and matured, and to a point now where I'm less and less afraid of failure, because I know that I'm not perfect, and I believe in Jesus, and His grace is sufficient. So I'm kind of done trying to be perfect, because it's not a winning proposition. Only God is perfect. So, but the thing that kind of scares me the most is being successful at something that doesn't matter. And basically what that means to me is missing out on God's will for my life, and while I'm here on this earth, and even to take it even a step further, unknowingly aiding the enemy in his will and his purpose. That one scares me. That's a scary proposition, guys. If and I understand God is sovereign. The Bible talks about we wrestle with our challenge is more than just flesh and blood, but with principalities and darkness. So in my mind, as I was thinking about this, is I don't want to be a tool for the enemy. I don't. And the devil has done a good job of making men kind of numb and apathetic, like I said, and on the sidelines. We, again, like I said, we think that not doing bad is good enough, and it's not. The statistics are in, and it's not good. The men, if the men don't show up, our society is hurt, and it's just as simple as that. And so I hope you guys will commit to connection and not forsake gathering with one another and spurring each other on towards good work, good deeds, and love. So that's my challenge to you guys. As simple as just show up. If God's calling you to be the leader, and again, it's not, you don't have to have some grand plan, simple text message. Show up. Honor that. Be obedient to God's calling in your life. And I don't think God's calling is for us men to be on the sidelines and not show up and not interact with one another. So be honest with yourself. I pray that God speaks to you guys and encourages you. And I thank you again for inviting me. And I hope you guys are blessed by this conference. So take care. God bless you. And yeah, I'm sure I'll see you guys around. All right, take care.